Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Japanese ebook before it's gone.
Hey guys, Risa here. Welcome to Ask Risa video series, where you ask questions and I'll answer them. Okay, let's check out the questions we have for this week. では、カマルさんからの質問です。カマルさん、質問ありがとうございます。I don't really understand the difference of the meaning of nuance between no and は、が。例えば、どうやって私が日常使ってるかをいろんなもので説明したいと思います。私のメガネ。このメガネは私の。このメガネが私の。和とがは同じような意味なんですけど、このメガネが私のって言ったときは、周りの人が知らなくて、このメガネが私のっていうなんか強調してる感じでちょっと使ってると思います。このメガネは私のだったら、周りの人はもしかして知ってるかもしれないけど、教えるとか言うみたいなイメージですかね。難しいな。私のペットボトル。このペットボトルは私の。このペットボトルが私の。このペットボトルが私のって言ってるときは何個かあってそのうちの一つを指してるときに使います。使い分けも私たちも自然にしてるので、やっぱりいろいろなテレビ見たりとか映画見たりとか、日本語にたくさん触れて慣れるっていうことが一番大事かなと思います。アリアンさんからの質問です。Hi アリアンさん、Thank you. Risa, do you prefer dogs or cats? 私は猫も犬もどっちも大好きなんですけど、どちらか選べと言われたら犬です。なぜなら犬を昔飼ってたのと、やっぱり猫よりも犬の方が気持ちが分かりやすいというか、猫はちょっと例えば撫でてたのに突然爪でキュッてやったりとかしてくるので、犬のが好きですね。あと昔飼ってた犬はグレートピレニーズっていう大きな白い犬です。ワンちゃんの名前はテンって言ったんですけど、今はもう天国にいます。天元気か？はい、次の質問がアンドリュー・ブランクレイさんからの質問です。Thank you, アンドレイさん。Thank you. Risa, what is your favorite Japanese holiday or festival? はい、私の好きなホリデーはクリスマスです。日本ではクリスマスは恋人の日みたいな感じで、街全体がイルミネーションでロマンチックな雰囲気になるし、一年のうちで特別な雰囲気があるので、それが好きです。で、好きなお祭りは8月にある高円寺阿波踊りっていう阿波踊りのお祭りがあるんですけど、踊り手も1万人ぐらいいて、お客さんも2日間お祭りがあって、その2日間で100万人ぐらい来るんですけど、私もその中で一つのチームに入って踊ってるので、ぜひ見に来てください。So, that's all for this episode. Thanks to everyone who submitted their questions. Thank you. And if you want to ask me a question, just click here or click on the link in the video description. Stay tuned for more Ask Risa. Bye! Hey guys, Risa here. Welcome to the Ask Risa video series where you ask questions and I answer them. I answer them! Okay, let's check out the questions we have for this week. ビクトルさんからの質問です。Hi, ビクトルさん。Hi, Risa. I was wondering how accurate are movies or anime to normal way of speaking? だいたい喋るスピードとかはそんなに普通に喋ってるのと変わらないと思います。だけど、例えば日本語って自分のことを指す言葉がたくさんあるんですね。一番有名なのだと私とか僕とかなんですけど、アニメに出てくるキャラクターは自分のことをオラとか我が輩とかいろいろそういう使い方すると思うんですけど、そういうのは普段の会話であまり使わないですね。あとはそうだな。何のキャラクターか忘れたけど、なんたらなのだとか、なんたらだぞとか、そういう喋り方するキャラクターもいますけど、もしそれを日常生活で使ってたら、ちょっとなんていうかな。ちょっとオタクっぽい感じがするかもしれないです。はい。ありがとうございます。 We actually have a word list for anime fighting words. Heya! To! Jukushi! Check them out from the link in the description. 日本語で質問が来ました。オリンさん、すごいなんか星座みたいな名前ですね。オリオン座みたいな。綺麗な名前。OK。リサさん、お花見したことがありますか？どこで？誰と？いつ頃？お花見は、毎年春になると1回はしてますね。だいたい春の季節になると、友達が呼んでくれて、お花見に行くんですけど、去年はどこだったかな？代々木公園で、友達と、いつ頃だったかな？ 3 月か4月にお花見しましたよ。やっぱりお花見のシーズンだったので、公園、すごい人で、特に代々木公園ってたくさん人が集まるんですけど、すごい賑わってましたね。なんか音楽する人もいたり、お酒飲んでワイワイ騒いでる人もいたり、あと、もし日本に来てお花見をする予定があって、それが代々木公園だったら、代々木公園、お手洗いがあるんですけど、すごい人が並ぶんですね。トイレに1時間ちょっと待ったので、もし代々木公園にお花見に行く予定があれば、お手洗いは公園に行く前に済ましておくことをお勧めします。特に女性。はい。あと今年これからお花見の季節がもうすぐ来るんですけど、今年こういう風にお花見したいっていうのが、川にボートに乗りながらお花見をしたいなと思ってます。Okay, next question is from Fabrizio Cortes. わかんない。イタリアの人かな。Thank you! Anyway, thank you. こんにちは、リサちゃん。Hello, Lisa. こんにちは。Alicia told me that you like avocado. Is it true? Because I like to eat it with tacos. ははははは。またね。ほっしゃ。そうですね、アボカド大好きです。一番初めにアボカドと出会ったのは、あれは何年前だろう。10年前ぐらいですかね。友達がニュージーランドに留学してて、で、そこに遊びに行った時に、近くの日本食レストランがなんか、アボカドとスモークサーモンをご飯の上に乗して、で、なんか醤油のかかっているのを食べさせてくれたんですけど、その時にアボカド食べて、すごくこれ美味しいって思って。で、それから日本に帰って買うようになりました。うん。アボカド、なんかたまにすごい食べたくなるんですよね。体にもいいみたいだし。これ、アボカドサーモン丼だとして、ありがとう。何これ？この緑の。アボカド？ちょっと食べてみよう。いただきます。アボカドカドトリコです。危ないThat's all for today. Thanks to everyone who submitted their questions. Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。And if you want to ask me a question, just click here or on the link in the video description. Keep watching for more Ask Risa in the future. またね! Hi guys, it's Risa. Do you like eating Japanese food? いただきます. But did you know? We actually have several taboos while eating. Well, today I'm going to tell you top 5 things not to do when eating in Japan. Let's go! Rubbing chopsticks against each other to get rid of splinters. Brrr. 質のいい割り箸は割っても木くずが出ないので、こうやってこすることによって、この箸は安物の箸だということを訴えているのと同じことになるのです。Putting chopsticks upright in the bowl. 仏教では亡くなった方の枕元にご飯を置くことがあります。その時に箸をこのようにご飯に立てて、あの世とこの世の架け橋として刺しておくことがあります。なので生きている人がやるのはとても縁起の悪いことと言われています。Passing food from chopsticks to chopsticks. 日本では亡くなった方を火葬場で焼いた後に箸を使って骨壺に収めます。 その時に一人の人が骨をつまんで別の人が箸で受け取ることをするので、火葬場と同じようなことをするというのは良くないということでダメと言われています。チッピング。日本ではチップをあげるという習慣がないので、もし何も言わずにテーブルにチップを置いていたら、お店の人が忘れ物だと思って追いかけてくるかもしれません。Eating while talking。わわわわわわわ。口にいっぱい入ってるのに喋るのはみっともないですよ。Now you're ready to eat in Japan. Yay! To learn more about Japanese culture, how to speak Japanese, go to JapanesePod101.com right now. いただきます。Hi everyone, it's Risa. Today I'm here at Konbini. Konbini is shortened for convenience store. コンビニはとっても便利で生活に欠かせない一部となっています。There's more than 6,000 convenience stores in Tokyo and it's normally open for 24 hours. Wow! How convenient. Convenience store is very convenient, but normally it's a little bit expensive than supermarket. And I'm here at Family Mart. I like Family Mart because they have a fresh made cafe latte for 100 yen. There's another popular convenience stores such as 7-Eleven, Lawson. I like Natural Lawson. They normally sell some kind of organic products. In convenience store, you can buy drinks, food, sweets and snacks, ice creams, and there's an ATM as well. And you can do photocopier, so pretty much of everything. Sometimes convenience store has a place to eat, so you can just buy food from the convenience store, then maybe go upstairs to eat bento. Let's go and get it. Oh, Yukimi Daifuku has a seasonal flavor. My favorite is Yukimi Daifuku. These ice creams are Family Mart brand, so you can get only from the Family Mart. I like these drinks, the warm drinks. I like this one. Yemon. Damn. These are the bento boxes, and if you buy bento box, normally they ask you if you need to warm up the bento. You can warm it up. This is 鶏そぼろ弁当。鶏のそぼろと、あと卵と、あとこれ唐揚げかなが入ってます。で、お寿司の中に唐揚げが入ってます。There's fried chicken inside of the sushi bowl. There's many kind of gummies. I recommend you to buy this one, 果汁グミ。Fresh strawberry juice, 100%. 100% of fresh strawberry juice. This kaju gumi has different flavors. My favorite is orange and grapes. Kaju gumi. Oh look, natto, tofu, natto, mekabu. Natto is a fermented beans. I like them. It's healthy. Healthy. There is a can coffee which is collaborated with Star Wars. May the force be with you. I had enough with you. Oh my god, Meg! Sakura raspberry milk. 期間限定のスターバックス桜ラズベリーミルク Cherry Blossom Raspberry Milk。 あ、なんか新しいやつある。これ買ってみよう。Chai tea latte. There's so many different flavors like tantan-men, dandan-men, chili tomato, tom yum noodle, curry noodle. Oh, this one is quite famous one. Afri, yuzu they are quite popular for people from overseas. My favorite cup ramen. I normally don't really eat cup noodles because I know it's not really good for your health, but I don't know.
Premium series.
Yeah. Ooh, this looks nice. I like this gyuhi. すいません。カフェラテ一つください。
ホットカフェラテアイス。
ホットカフェラテで。
150円でございます。
はい、パスモで払えますか？
はい。キャッシュお願いします。そしてどれですか？
はい。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。OK、まず置いて、カフェラテなんかすごい出てくるんだけど。カフェラテ。Press the button. I'm gonna put sugar in it. あとの方がやっぱいいか。取ろうとして。いつもそうやってやるからさ。で、砂糖とかいろいろあるから砂糖を入れて、あといろんなこういうココアシュガーとかキャラメルシュガー、バニラシュガー、キャラメルとかあるので好きなのを味付けできます。ココアにしよう。ココアシュガー。じゃあいただきます。桜餅です。新発売。130円。桜餅ってなんか桜の葉っぱで包まれたお餅。桜の葉っぱの匂いがする。smells good. It makes me feel like spring is coming. いただきます。手で食べますよ。生クリームと粒あんと、美味しい。This is Eat in Space. You can buy food or drink you bought in Family Mart, and you can eat them in here, in this area. That's it. That's how the convenience stores are like in Japan. すごく便利で本当にいろんなものを置いてます。Here's some phrases you might use in the convenience store, or you might hear in the convenience store. いらっしゃいませ。Welcome in. お弁当、Japanese lunchbox、カップラーメン、instant noodles、写真プリント、picture printing、未成年、a minor, below 20 years old。温めますか？ Do you want it heated up? 袋はいらないです。I don't need a bag. Do you have a memorable experience in Japanese convenience store or in your country? If you have, please let us know in the comments. Do you want to move to Japan? You should check out the top 20 lessons that will help you to be prepared for the first week. You can find the link in the description. Thank you for joining us. Bye! And wait, come.
Want more Japanese videos like this? Subscribe to our channel.
トイレはどこですか？
豚肉は
You're handsome. Where is the toilet?
Hi everyone, this is Risa from Japanese Sport 101. Today I'm joined by
Young Cat the Cat from the channel Ask Japanese. Hey guys!
Welcome!
And today we're going to do Ask Japanese style interview together with Risa. And our topic is going to be
Ask foreigners what words and phrases they want to use in Japan.
if Japanese people want to go abroad, which words or phrases they would like to use abroad. So I think everyone can learn something from this video. So let's go and ask Japanese.
And foreigners! Is there any Japanese words or phrase do you want to use in Japan?
Probably, actually, the only phrase that I would like to know would be, "Where's the bathroom?"
That's very important. You can ask them like, トイレはどこですか? Where's the toilet?
What is it?
トイレは
トイレは
どこですか?
どこですか? トイレはどこですか?
Is there anything you say like, when maybe she's not around and you definitely want to say that? Like, you want to order a sneaky beer while she's not there or something like that? Anything? Or anything you want to do, maybe you want to buy her a gift when she's not there. So you might need some Japanese. So, what would you like to know?
Maybe how much is this? Or
That's a good one.
You can say いくらですか?
Ikura desu ka?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Easy and
easy.
short one.
Ikura desu ka?
Maybe you can. I like that one. Ikura desu ka? I like that one.
Pronunciation. Yeah.
I always keep running into people, so I want to say sorry or excuse me.
You can say すいません. すみません. すみません.
すみません.
すみません. Excuse me, yeah? Just easy way to say, the casual way to say is ごめん.
ごめん. ごめんなさい. Sorry.
Yeah, ごめんなさい.
Hi. Yeah. Have you got any suggestions? What would be useful for me?
For you to use. かっこいい.
かっこいい. What does that mean?
If you see cool guys walking on the street,
かっこいい. Ah, perfect. かっこいい.
If you see a hot guy, you can say イケメン. That means like handsome guy.
Ah, イケメン.
Beautiful because we see a lot of ladies and then they're doing lots of stuff in the streets and we can't.
きれい.
It's easier one.
That is easy.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. If you want to make it more polite, you can add ですね to it. So 綺麗ですね.
綺麗ですね.
Maybe like wow.
すごい.
すごい.
If you see something wow, you say すごい.
Something that's great, like amazing, you go like great, amazing. Those kind of powerful words, you just go すごい. すごい.
I ask in the restaurants if it's like okay to sit here or for takeaway. That's
ここに座っていいですか?
can you repeat that?
ここに
ここに
座って
座って
いいですか?
いいですか? Hi. And for like if I want to take food to takeaway.
Oh,
what should I say?
takeaway.
Yeah.
And you can take out できますか?
Take out to できますか? Hi.
We say take out for take away.
Take out.
Yeah, take out.
Take out.
It's like Japanese English.
Take out.
Take out できますか?
Take out できますか?
Yeah.
Hi.
You have a good pronunciation.
Yeah, because I'm learning.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to know how to say, does this have pork in it? Because I don't eat pork or beef.
You can say 豚肉は入ってますか? 豚肉は
Make it slowly. 豚肉は Ready, go.
は
入ってますか?
Haitamiska?
Yay, got it.
A good try.
Thank you.
If you just remember if you just remember 豚肉, you can just go 豚肉
In it?
Botanical.
And if they go yes, then you know no.
Botanical. Botanical. Okay, got it.
I just forgot. How do you say please?
お願いします.
Okay, yeah, that's because I'm always like I ask a question and I feel like really rude because Japanese people are so polite.
Yeah. お願いします.
Onegaishimasu.
お願いします. It's a useful one.
イケメンですねって。
Oh, イケメンですね.
You're handsome. You're handsome.
You're handsome.
まあみんなで勇気で出して言いましょう。一斉の You're handsome. Ah, very good, very good. 完璧です。
海外でイケメンってなんて言うんですか? かっこいいじゃなくてイケメンだね.
Ah, you're handsome.
You're handsome.
自分彼女いるんで、英語で告白みたいなしたいなと思って。
英語で告白。
だからなんか、いやそうよ。いや女の子って日本語とかよりもちょっとね英語とかで言われた方がキュンとくるからね。
逆にその I love you よりなんか一緒にずっといたいみたいな方がいいんじゃない？
のこれから先もずっと一緒にいてくださいみたいなのを教えてください。
それいいですね。ドキュンしますね。じゃあ Let's stay together forever? Okay. いいじゃないですか。じゃあ
Let's stay
together
together
forever.
forever.
それを合わせて今カメラ目線で彼女だと思ってください。
まだレッツステイ。
いや4個4個。
レッツステイ
together
forever. Let's stay together forever. Let's stay together forever. I love it.
かわいい。癒された。じゃあ例えばYou're cute. You're cute.
この後どうですかみたいな。
この後どうですか。なんかどこかに行きましょうかみたいな感じ。
一緒にどうですかみたいな。
Would you like to go for lunch? ランチ行きましょうかみたいな感じ。
なるほど。
Would you like せーの。Would you like to go for lunch?
使う機会ないと思うんですけど、トリプル A が好きなんで、トリプル A お好きですかって。
じゃあ Do you like せーの。
Do you like
and then triple A. Triple A.
今日の晩ご飯は何ですか？
What's for dinner tonight? どこの国行きたいとかあります？
ロサンゼルス。
行くならどこ行きたいですか？
スウェーデン行ってみたいです。
なんでスウェーデンですか？
スウェーデンのストックホルムとかすごい綺麗で、ちょっと行ってみたいなと思って。トイレはどこですか？大事
大事。Where is the toilet? Where is the toilet? Perfect.
トイレはどこですかってあれだね。
じゃあそれから Where is the bathroom?
The bathroom.
トイレだとトイレって感じで、もうちょっと上品な言い方で。
おいしいご飯どこですか？
ちょっと長いおすすめみたいなパーツかな。Is there a restaurant you can recommend?
おすすめの場所は
Where do you recommend? Where do you recommend? 海外どこに行きたいですか？
僕ドイツに行きたいですね。そうなんですか？僕ドイツ住んでたんですよ。
そうですか。どこですか？
デュッセルドルフに2歳から5歳ぐらいまで、なんか親の仕事の関係で行ってましたね。見たものを思い出すとか、ここいたなとか、なんかあとなんか食べ物とか食べて、なんか懐かしいみたいな。
いいね。
ぜひ。
ない。
やっぱ行ってみたいのはアメリカですかね。ギャンブルできるところ。
そんな金持ってないだろ。
いやある食べてから行くんだよ。
そういうこと。
行きたいな。ハンバーガーあれ食べたいなと思って。
アメリカスタイルハンバーガー。
マクドナルドっていうところで食べたいな。
日本にもあるんですよね。
あるんですか？
あるでしょう。
そこにある。あった。いやでもなんかアメリカサイズはでかいって聞くんで。
スーパーサイズみたいな感じ。
あれちょっと一回食べてみたいですね。
そっちの国にいてちょっとそこにいる人と会話したいなと思った時にはちょっとなんかこの単語が知りたいかで私教えますので、ぜひ今のチャンスです。サービスでドイツ語でも教えられますので。
なんか美味しいお店教えてほしい時に。
Wo gibt es? せーの。Wo gibt es ein gutes Restaurant? Wo gibt es ein gutes Restaurant? ありがとうございました。Thank you.
こんにちは。今日はキャティと一緒にすごい楽しかったけど。
楽しかった。ありがとう。これも楽しいよね。
楽しい。海外の人にどういう日本語を勉強したいか知りたいかって聞いたところ、多かったのはやっぱりかっこいい人とか綺麗な人見た時に言う言葉が多かった気がするんだけど。
でもトイレはどこですか？もう結構あったよ。
トイレもそれ大事だよね。
大事。
あと外国の人何が多い？
やっぱ褒め言葉が逆に多かった。逆に褒め言葉例えばなんか handsome とか you're handsome とイケメンとか you like so handsome とやっぱりそのなんかおすすめみたいなのが結構多かった気がする。楽しかった。ドイツ語もちょっと入って嬉しかった。
そうドイツすごいね。
ちょっと嬉しかった。
そう Ask Japanese の動画が下にリンク出てるのでぜひクリックして見てみてください。
そこでね逆にリーサさんのロリータ姿が見れますよ。彼女可愛くてそこでね2人で授業やってるのでぜひ見てください。
キャティは見ての通りいつも こういうロリータの格好してるので、うちのスタジオに来て私にもロリータの格好させてくれました。はい、はい、
楽しかった。可愛かったよ。もうすっごい可愛いよ。もうマジで可愛いよ。見た方がいいよ。
もしかしたら面白いかもしれないし見てみてください。
またやりましょう。
やろう。おう。
おお。こっちか。
バイバイ。リンククリックしてね。Hi everyone, I'm Risa from JapanesePod101.com. Do you know how to say I love you in Japanese? In this lesson, you learn 3 different ways to say I love you and a special phrase for Valentine's Day. Let's start with the most common phrase. 愛してる。愛してる。I love you. This phrase is direct. You should use it only when you're confessing your love. If you want to be less direct, you can use this phrase. あなたは私にとってとても大事な存在です。あなたは私にとってとても大事な存在です。It means you mean so much to me. Now, if you want to be more romantic in expressing your love for someone, you can say this phrase. 言葉であなたへの愛情は言い表せられない。言葉であなたへの愛情は言い表せられない。It means words can't describe my love for you. Now you know 3 different ways to say I love you in Japanese. And here's one more. What if you want to spend Valentine's Day with someone special? In that case, say this phrase. バレンタインを一緒に過ごしてくれる? Will you be my Valentine? Or literally, can we spend Valentine's Day together? バレンタインを一緒に過ごしてくれる? Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what you've learned. Listen to the expression and repeat after me. I love you. 愛してる。愛してる。You mean so much to me. あなたは私にとってとても大事な存在です。あなたは私にとってとても大事な存在です。Words can't describe my love for you. 言葉であなたへの愛情は言い表せられない。言葉であなたへの愛情は言い表せられない。Will you be my Valentine? バレンタインを一緒に過ごしてくれる？バレンタインを一緒に過ごしてくれる？ Well done! Did you know that on Valentine's Day, women also give chocolates to male colleagues and classmates? They do this to show their gratitude for their positive working relationship, even if they have no romantic feelings. This is known as 義理チョコ or obligation chocolate. You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Japanese and 1 special phrase for Valentine's Day. And if you're interested in learning more, don't forget to download your free romance and love cheat sheet, which includes romance words, compliments, and pickup lines. Check out the description below and go to JapanesePod101.com now. I'll see you next time. またね! Hi everyone, this is Risa, and today I'm joined by
Cat, and I'm part of the Ask Japanese channel, and we usually do street interviews.
This is my first time Lolita fashion.
Yes, you're wearing Lolita fashion, and it suits you so well. You look so cute. So this is going to be the collaboration. We're going to do a lesson. What's the lesson title?
How to be a good lover in Japanese.
Ooh. And we also went to the streets. You and I, we went to the streets to film people and ask foreigners in Japanese about that. If you're curious about that video, that's on our channel. So if you later have time and you want to see us both acting together on the streets of Tokyo, that's on our channel. So
Harajuku.
Harajuku. Let's start!
私はあなたに一目惚れしてしまった。
I've got a crush on you.
私はあなたに一目惚れしてしまった。
I've got a crush on you. 使ったことありますか？
あれ？
ある？
ないですないです。
ない？
ある？
あるかも。でも一目惚れの方が強い気がする。
そう、日本語で一目惚れだったらもう全然知らなかった人を見て好きになっちゃって。
I fell in love with you at first sight.
そうそうそう、love at first sight.
Oh,
that's the word.
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
That's strong. 私は日本に一目惚れしちゃった。
日本にでも日本にとか国にはあまり使わないかも。例えば人とか物とか見てパッてわかるもの。日本だとちょっと大きすぎて、例えばなんだろうな。このドレスに一目惚れして買っちゃったとか、さっきの携帯ケースとかもそうだけど、なんかを見てすぐいいなって思った時に使える。
なるほど。じゃあ国は使えない。
付き合ってくれませんか？
Will you go out with me?
付き合ってくれませんか？
Will you go out with me?
そう、日本は普通付き合ってくださいって言って OK したら本当にオフィシャリー、ボーイフレンド&ガールフレンドだけど、海外はね、なんかニュアンスが難しい。ちょっ
と違う。普通には好きだよみたいな感じで言うけど、付き合ってくれませんか？
そうか、なんか重い気がする。はい、
手を。付き合ってくれませんか？
OK すごい軽いね。軽い。OK 君はとても美しいよ。
You're so beautiful.
君はとても美しいよ。
You're so beautiful.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You're beautiful. これ言える人ってなかなかいないと思う。あんまり可愛いよとかだったら言えるけど、君はとても美しいよってなんかすごい
なんか劇的な、君はとても美しいよ。
そんな人いたら面白いかもしれない。
いるいる。なんか逆にちょっと変わってる人が言うかもしれない。なんかバラを持ってきて、
確かに。
君はとても美しいよ。君の目に乾杯。
ありがとう。
鏡よ鏡。
この世で一番美しいのは誰？
誰？
君はとても美しいよ。
今の20世紀で iPhone になっちゃったけど。
君はとても美しいだよ。ちょっと噛んじゃった。あなたはとても美しいですよ。
わ、嬉しいわ。
かわいい。嬉しいわ。やろうかな。あなたは私にとってとても大切な存在です。
You mean so much to me. これやっぱ言われたら嬉しい。
嬉しいね。これでも恋人だけじゃなくて家族とか友達にも言えるかもね。
確かに。
あなたは私にとって友達にすごいあなたは大事な存在だよって。
You mean so much to me. 結構長い。あなたは私にとってとても大切な存在です。
とても大切。So much.
So important.
So important.
じゃあ私に言ってください。
あなたはちょっといいですか？あなたは私にとってとても大切な存在です。
そうですか。初対面なんですけど。
あれ？ケイトさん。違います。
一つがです。すいません。カテです。
私たちは一緒になる運命だったんだ。
We were meant to be together.
私たちは一緒になる運命だ。
We were meant to be together.
これでもちょっと怖いね。怖くない？
一緒になる運命。
知らない人とか自分が別に好きじゃない人に僕たちは一緒になる運命だったんだよって言われたらなんかストーカーみたいじゃない？僕たちは一緒になる。
確かにでも恋愛の単語は、なんかよくそのプラスマイナスができるんですよね。その人ちょっといいなと思った時に何でも綺麗に感じるけど、ちょっとと思った時にはあんまり言い過ぎると怖い。
そうだね、好きっていう気持ちがあってからこそ言われても嬉しいし、ね、意味があるよね。
確かに。でもこれは結構引っ張る単語ですよね。
そう。You belong with me.
You belong to me. We're meant to be together. 私たちは一緒になる運命だったんだ。
赤い糸ピン。
そう、これもよくアニメとかで見るんじゃない？赤い糸が見えるように。
そう、赤い糸がつながってる人が運命の人っていう。
はい。だから私たちが見えない赤い糸がみんなの小指に紐で
結ばれて
て、でその人いつか見つけた時には赤い糸の人見つけたみたいな。
そう。
一緒になる運命がだった人。
そう、それこそ本当にこれ 私たちは一緒になる運命だったんだが、赤い糸の人のこと。
で逆にね、その人じゃないと
私たちは一緒になる。あれ違った。違う。毎日メロンパンを作ってあげるよ。
I would make you melon pan every day.
毎日メロンパンを作ってあげるよ。
あ、大好き。I would make you melon pan every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Every day melon pan? Okay, like musk melon, normal melon,
and then chocolate.
Chocolate melon.
And strawberry.
Melon with cheese maybe?
Oh, okay. If you make it for me, that's fine. Melon pan is quite hard to make, actually.
Yeah. メロンパンはメロン味のパンです。そのままだけど。
メロンの味かな。私の友達がメロンが嫌いで、でもメロンパンが大丈夫らしい。
あれでも
砂糖の味の気がする。
メロンの果汁が入ってるのもあるし、入ってないでただそのメロンフレーバーのやつもある。
私メロンパン大好きで、結構日本に初めて来た時からパクパク食べて。
毎日メロンパン作ってくれる？
毎日メロンパン作ってあげるよ。
買わなくてもいいね。
ね、お得のこと考えちゃう。
栄養バランスがあんまり良くないね。メロンパン。
確かに砂糖。
キスしてもいい？
May I kiss you?
キスして
もいい？ May I kiss you? キモい声出た。May I kiss you?
May I? こんなこと言えますか？
いやでも男性にキスしてもいいって言われたらドッキンすると思う。
これね、言われたら確かにドキッとする。
確かに。
でも緊張しちゃうよね、言われたら逆に。そう。これどう？なんか髪の毛がボサボサになってて、海でこうやって髪の毛直してくれて、キスしてもいい？
あり。それ超可愛い。でいいね。超可愛い。
言えないですけど。言えない。I can't say it。
あぐくい。キスしてもいい？
OK。あなたマジシャンでしょ？だってあなたを見るたびに他の人がみんな消えちゃうんだもん。
You must be a magician because every time I look at you, everyone else disappears.
あなたマジシャンでしょ？だってあなたを見るたびに他の人がみんな消えちゃうんだもん。
あなたはピカチュウでしょ
う？ No？
いやでも毎回触る瞬間にはパツンとくるんだから。
パツンとビリビリ？
そうビリビリ。
パツンとビリビリビリビリ。あなたマジシャン？
なんかここに可愛い女性たくさんいるんだよな。
大丈夫だよ。君を見ると他の人が消えちゃうもん。一番星を見ると周りが見えなくなるでしょ？君はその一番星なんだよ。
いける。これあり。
納豆を食べる以外何でもしてあげるよ。
Except eating natto, I will do anything for you.
納豆を食べる以外何でもしてあげるよ。
Except eating natto, I will do anything for you.
Anything. I do anything
for you. Except eating natto.
納豆好き？
これ日本の素敵な文化だよな。The worst thing I've seen that was berry natto.
Berry natto?
There was berry natto. Very berry natto. That was a very special one. I found this in the shop and I was like, ooh, let's film me
berry
eating
natto.
that. Yes. So I did like a video. Like I put that on the camera. I was like, let's try this. And it bubbles. And it smells. And then you have the berry flavor on top. So it doesn't smell so bad anymore. And then you eat it and it's like...
罰ゲームだね。
Yes. Exactly. I made my colleagues eat it afterwards.
本当？ Anybody liked the natto?
They thought it was great. Like one of my Japanese colleagues, she was like, it's nice. There's a nice flavor. Still, no, don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
完璧な人なんていないなんていう人はあなたのことを知らないんだね。
Whoever said that no one is perfect has never seen you.
完璧な人なんていないっていうのはあなたのことを知らないんだね。
ちょっと待って。Whoever said that no one is perfect has never seen you. はい。すいません、間違えました。
そっちの方がね、
女性結構あるじゃない。こういうなんかもうちょっとなんかもう痩せた方がいいよとか、髪の毛の色が嫌だよとか、いろいろ不安があるじゃない。でその時に私にとってあなたは完璧だよ。
そう、完璧だよ。もうそれ以上大丈夫。
の方がいい。はい、でも朝もこの飾りがいい。これがいいの。帽子がいいのかな。なんか違う帽子にした方がいいのかな。
もうそのままで綺麗だから大丈夫。I like you just the way you are。
やっぱ女性いろんな不安があるじゃん。
そう、褒めてあげる、褒めてあげて言葉をかけてあげるというのがいいと思います。
それでね、 グッドラバーになりますよ。
そうだ、How to be good lover in Japanese だか
So
ら。
don't use the cheesiest lines. Use the right lines. Yeah. Just do the right amount. It's like every good cake has a good amount of sugar and then too much.
That's what she says.
That's what I said.
So guys, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
今日はキャシーが一緒に、キャティじゃないよ、キャティが一緒にジョインしてくれました。
楽しかったです。
楽しかったね。ありがとうございます。とよかったらこんなチートシートもあるので、
Romance and love.
ぜひチェックしてみてください。あと原宿で2人でね、
撮影、
ラブとかトラベルとか、いろんなことについて質問した動画があるので、そちらもチェックしてみてください。
私たちのチャンネルにようこそおいでください。楽しかったので、彼女2人でね、原宿に回って、
ぜひ
チェックしてください。
リンクはそこか？こっちか？こっちか？こっちか？こっちか？こっちか？
リンク見つけてください。
どこかです。おいで。Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
可愛いスタイル。会いたかった。犯してしまいそうなたった一つの罪は、あなたのハートを奪ってしまうことでね。
The only crime I will ever commit is stealing your heart.
どうぞ。
くれんの？何の住んでないからせー。はい、返します。
ありがとうございます。
はい、私もちょうだい。はい、
どうぞ。
間違えてない？これ私の？
そう。盗んでないよ。
さっき盗んだよね。
盗んでない。
ちょっとね、気をつけましょう。逮捕しちゃうよ。カティカです。リサです。で、あなたのハートを奪っちゃうよ。カッ。
はい、みんな元気？ Today's theme is Top 10 Language Learning Strategies. Let's learn. もっとよく理解できるように日本語を聞きながら読む。Listen and read along to understand Japanese better. もっとよく理解できるように日本語を聞きながら読む。Listen and read along to understand Japanese better. Let's learn Japanese. こんにちは。私の名前はリサです。私はお腹が空きました。声を録音して日本語母語話者の発音と比べる。Record your voice and compare your pronunciation with native Japanese speakers. 声を録音して日本語母語話者の発音と比べる。Record your voice and compare your pronunciation with native Japanese speakers. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. 今日はいい天気ですね。OK。ダイアログをダウンロードして日本語の会話を聞く。Download dialogue tracks and listen to the Japanese conversations. ダイアログをダウンロードして日本語の会話を聞く。Download dialogue tracks and listen to the Japanese conversations. Lesson 1, Section 3 Dialogue 日本語で買い物をしよう。すいません、これはいくらですか？これは3つで300円ですよ。ありがとうございます。買います。毎度ありがとうございます。ピーン耳にしたフレーズを何度も声に出して練習をする。Repeat the phrase that you hear out loud again and again. 耳にしたフレーズを何度も声に出して練習する。Repeat the phrases that you hear out loud again and again. On the bus. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Me sitting behind him. That's what I'm saying. 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 Like this. 完璧にマスターするために前に勉強したレッスンを復習する。Review all the lessons to master them completely. 完璧にマスターするために前に勉強したレッスンを復習する。Review all the lessons to master them completely. 人を褒めるときに使う言葉。これもあったな。もう一回勉強しよう。今日も可愛いですね。LINE by LINE オーディオを使って会話のセリフを一つ一つ復習してリスニングを磨く。Improve your listening skills by reviewing each line of the conversation with a LINE by LINE audio tool. ラインバイラインオーディオを使って会話のセリフを一つ一つ復習してリスニングを磨く。Improve your listening skills by reviewing each line of the conversation with the line by line audio tool. 今日は公園に行きました。お花がとてもきれいに咲いていました。今度は友達と一緒に行きたいと思いました。ダッシュボードで自分の勉強の進み具合を確認してやる気を保つ。Stay motivated by tracking your learning progress with the dashboard. ダッシュボードで自分の勉強の進み具合を確認してやる気を保つ。Stay motivated by tracking your learning progress with the dashboard. 今日はここまで。明日はそこまで。明後日はそこまで。絶対日本語喋れるようになるんだ。I can do it! まずは文章をゆっくり読む。そしてもう少し早く。もう一度読んでみる。Read lines slowly at first. Then, reread and increase your speed. まずは文章をゆっくり読む。そしてもう少し早く。もう一度読んでみる。Read lines slowly at first. Then, reread and increase your speed. あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あ あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、あいうえお、青、青、青、青、青。締め切りのある小さくて適当な目標を立てる。Set small and measurable learning goals with the deadline. 締め切りのある小さくて適当な目標を立てる。Set small and measurable learning goals with the deadline. 次にレストラン行った時には日本語で注文できるようにするぞ。私が英語を学んでる時にしたのは1日ワンフレーズを覚えるとか、何か単語を一つ覚えるとか、覚えてその単語を使う文を勉強したりしてました。早く上達するように自分のレベルより少し難しいレッスンに挑戦してみる。Try harder lessons to challenge yourself and improve faster. 早く上達するように自分のレベルより少し難しいレッスンに挑戦してみる。Try harder lessons to challenge yourself and improve faster. よし、日本語の曲を全部英語訳してみるぞ。今日のレッスンはここまでです。Today's theme was Top 10 Language Learning Strategies. なんとなく言葉を学ぶのもいいけど、どういうふうに学ぶかっていう戦略を考えると、もっと早く上達するかもしれませんよ。ということで、今日は以上です。Bye for now. See you later. Ciao. ぽわぽわぽわぽわぽわぽわぽわぽわうんうんうんうんうん。Hi guys, it's Risa. Today you're going to learn top 10 Japanese slang words. Let's do it. やばい risky. Wow. やばい遅刻しそう。このやばいはいろんな時にいろんなシチュエーションで使えるので、そうですね、例えばいい時のやばいもあれば、本当に危ないとか本当に悪い時のやばいもあります。いい時のやばいはやばーみたいな感じ、なんかすごいじゃんみたいな感じで、悪いやばいはやばよくないねみたいな意味合いで使ったりします。マジで Seriously? マジで Seriously? ねえ、世界一周旅行が当たったよ。マジで I have a big backpack. うわーうわー超 very 超 very 超超超いい感じ、超超超いい感じ、超超超超very very 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 超超何の歌かわかんないね。超超 means not very very. 超超 means butterfly. 超超超超 very very. This is a box. 超狭い。めっちゃ very めっちゃ very パフェ食べよう。 いただきます。めっちゃうま。Very tasty. チャラい flirtatious player. チャラい flirtatious player. あの人かっこいいけど、でもチャラいから苦手。嫌だ No way. 嫌だ No way. 明日学校行きたくない。嫌だバイト part-time job. バイト part-time job. バイトを探す。バイトはアルバイトの省略形です。腹減る I'm hungry. 腹減る I'm hungry. 今日何にも食べてないから腹減ったよ。あんまり女の子は使わない方がいいです。女の子は使わないでください。ちょっとお下品な感じです。女の子が使ったら。はい。ひどい It's terrible. You're mean. ひどい It's terrible. You're mean. 内緒で私の取ってたアイスクリーム食べたでしょ。ひどいアイスくれ。最高 Best. Coolest. 最高 Best. Coolest. 明日から休みだぜ。最高。もうすぐ富士山の頂上だ。もうすぐ着いた。最高。Okay, that's all for today. いろんなスラングの言葉があるので、今日習った言葉を日本の友達に使ってみたらどんな反応されるか楽しみですね。それではまた。バイバイ。くまさん、頑張って
The full version for all lessons are available on JapanesePod101.com right now. Click the link in the description.
Hi everyone, I'm Risa. Welcome to Basic Japanese Writing. In this series, I'm going to teach you how to master the Japanese alphabet in the fastest, easiest, and most fun way. Did you know written Japanese actually uses 3 different scripts: hiragana, katakana, and kanji.
Hiragana is the basic Japanese alphabet. Contrary to the English alphabet, however, each character represents one syllable sound. So every time you see one specific character, you know that it will always sound the same way. The second script used in Japanese is katakana. Each katakana character represents the same syllable as its hiragana counterpart. However, it is written a bit differently and is used mostly for foreign words. These two make up the Japanese alphabet and they will be the focus of this series. On the other hand, kanji characters represent a word or a concept, and unlike hiragana and katakana, there are thousands of them. Plus, there are also different readings for each of them. This makes kanji characters harder to master. However, it's important to learn them as well because they are essential in understanding Japanese.
To learn more about kanji, check out our kanji series at JapanesePod101.com, which I also host with Alicia.
In this first lesson, we'll be diving into hiragana, and you'll be learning your first 5 characters. Hiragana characters are the most common of the 3 scripts because it's used to write functional words like grammatical particles and are also commonly found at the end of adjectives and verbs. There are also a lot of words that are more commonly written in hiragana rather than kanji. Technically, hiragana characters could also be used to substitute kanji characters that you don't know how to write. But don't use this as an excuse not to learn kanji. There are 46 hiragana characters and they are commonly arranged in this order.
Take note that when Japanese is written vertically, you read it from right to left. So we'll be starting with this column.
These 5 characters are the 5 vowel sounds in Japanese. The rest of the characters are made up of a consonant sound and one of these vowel sounds, except for the n character.
Okay, are you ready to learn your first hiragana? Here we go!
This is the hiragana character, a. To remember this character, try comparing it with an apple. Do you see it? Next up is the hiragana character, I. Think of this character as two eyes side by side. いい. You can actually see い a lot in writing as it acts like a suffix to most adjectives in Japanese. The third one is the hiragana, う. To remember this character, imagine a boxer getting punched in the stomach saying う. This is the hiragana character, え. It looks like an energetic ninja. Whoosh! Now, our final character for this lesson, the hiragana, お. To remember お, try to think of it as a UFO. Take a look at these two characters. Do you remember this character on the left? That's right, it's the hiragana, あ. In order to differentiate hiragana, お, from あ, just remember that お has a floating stroke on the side. お is also often used in writing, but unlike い, お is commonly found at the beginning of words. It is used to imply politeness. Let's see all the characters again. あ, い, う, え, お. Now, let's review what you've learned. I'll show you a character or a word and give you time to say them. Ready? え. Remember the energetic ninja. い. Believe it or not, it's actually a word. い means stomach. う. Which one is the hiragana? あ. It's the one that looks like an apple and doesn't have a floating stroke. This one. 愛. It means love. 上. This one means up or above. いいえ. いいえ means no. 青い. This means blue. Great job! Do you remember when I said hiragana characters are used to spell out the pronunciation of a kanji? They are placed above or beside a kanji and written smaller. This use of hiragana is called furigana. Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what you've learned. In this lesson, you've learned the 5 hiragana vowels. あ、い、う、え、and お. よくできました. You've now mastered your first 5 characters. Do you know what big is in Japanese? In the next lesson, you'll learn it when you get to know your first batch of consonant vowel syllables. Before you go, practice writing the following words on your own. And to learn more Japanese, go to JapanesePort101.com. Want to know the do's and don'ts of writing your hiragana? Watch the full lessons on the site with advanced hiragana and katakana writing instructions. There, I'll be teaching you the correct balance and releases to make your writing perfect. See you in the next lesson. またね!
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Japanese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Risa.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Japanese pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. Japanese is what is called a mora-timed language. What this simply means is that every character in Japanese, which you can think of as a syllable, occupies the same length of time.
すみません. すみません.
Notice how each character is pronounced for an equal amount of time?
すみません.
No character takes up more or less time than the other characters. Every character is valued equally and is pronounced evenly throughout.
すみません。
English, on the other hand, is a stress-timed language. Syllables that are stressed are valued greater than syllables that are unstressed. Opportunity. The stressed syllable to in opportunity is deemed more important, so it's pronounced longer than all other syllables. Listen to it again. Opportunity. This gives English a machine gun-like rhythm, where the pace is sometimes fast and at other times slow. One last time. Opportunity. Compare this once again with Japanese, which is steady and even throughout.
すみません。
Because equal value is given to each character, there is no word stress in Japanese. When pronouncing Japanese words, try to imagine a constant stream of syllables flowing out from your mouth. There are 5 characters in Japanese that signify a vowel sound.
あ、い、う、え、お。
Apart from these 5 characters, all other characters, except for one that we will cover shortly, is made up of a consonant sound and one of these vowel sounds.
か、き、く、け、こ、さ、し、す、せ、そ、た、ち、つ、て、と。
And so on. Only this character here is kind of special. It's a consonant sound without a vowel sound.
ん。
So to recap, a Japanese character could be a vowel,
あ、
or more commonly made up of one consonant and one vowel,
か、
or it could just be this consonant sound on its own.
ん。
Now you know the possible sounds that make up a Japanese character, but let's look at all the sounds in Japanese collectively. In the previous lesson, you realized that you already know 10% of all words in Japanese, which is a miracle. But are you also aware that you already know roughly 80% of all sounds in Japanese too? That means that if you were to simply imitate a Japanese speaker, your pronunciation would be correct roughly 80% of the time. For example, listen and repeat after Risa.
わさび。わさび。
Chances are your pronunciation was pretty spot on. The W, S, and B sounds are practically identical to English. The sounds may be the same, but don't forget that Japanese isn't a stress-timed language like English. So instead of stressing the second syllable like wasabi, make it even throughout. Try again.
わさび。わさび。
Nearly all sounds in Japanese are identical to English, like the W, S, and B sounds in this example. Since you already know how to pronounce most of these sounds, we only need to pay attention to the handful of sounds that are completely new to you. They're the ones we need to look out for. In the previous lesson, we taught you how to say thank you in Japanese. Do you remember what it was? It's
ありがと
This word is often romanized like this. Focus on the second character. It's often written as an R and an I, but don't be fooled. This character isn't pronounced using an English R sound at all.
う。り。
It's like a mixture between an R and an L sound.
り。
There's no such sound in English, but most people would transcribe this using the letter R because that's the closest equivalent there is in English. Pronouncing it like an English R, however, would be a huge mistake. To pronounce this sound, lightly tap the gum ridge behind your upper teeth with the tip of your tongue. It should be a quick, striking motion, similar to the sensation you get when pronouncing the T in words like butter, cutter, and so on. Don't roll your tongue like an English R. Most of the air should go around the sides of your tongue, the same way it would when pronouncing an L sound. This is why many people describe this sound as in between an R and an L sound. Listen and repeat after Risa.
り。り。ありがとう。ありがとう。
Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Japanese is a mora-timed language, where syllables are pronounced for an equal amount of time. Japanese characters can represent a single vowel sound, a consonant and a vowel, or a single consonant sound. Collectively, nearly all the sounds in Japanese are identical to the sounds in English, and there are only a handful of new sounds that you need to learn. We've covered only the basics of Japanese pronunciation. If you're interested in learning more, check out the entire course we created named The Ultimate Guide to Japanese Pronunciation. In that course, we cover and break down every single sound in the Japanese language, showing you mouth and tongue positioning and giving you tips to help you perfect your Japanese pronunciation. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Japanese grammar, where you'll learn about Japanese word order and how to build basic phrases in Japanese. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Japanese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Risa.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Japanese grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. Consider the English sentence, I ate an apple. But first, let's remove the article an here for simplicity, so we're just left with I ate apple. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. If we break down the English sentence, I ate apple, we can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb ate, and then finally the object apple is positioned last. This is the basic word order for sentences in English.
Now, let's compare the same sentence, I ate an apple, in Japanese. 私がリンゴを食べました. Like before, let's remove the particles to keep it simple. So we're just left with the words. If we break down the Japanese sentence, we get the subject, 私, meaning I. Then comes the object, リンゴ, meaning apple. And finally, we have the verb, 食べました, meaning ate. The word order for Japanese then is subject, object, verb, or SOV for short.
In both languages, the subject is presented first. In English, though, it's followed by the verb and then the object, compared to the object being first and the verb last in Japanese. The same sentence in Japanese is essentially I apple ate, subject first, then object, and verb last, SOV. This is the basic word order for sentences in Japanese.
Okay, let's move on to the next section.
English is what is called a subject-prominent language. This simply means that the subject is slightly more important than other components in the sentence. It's the key piece of information other components in the sentence relate to. Who is doing the action is slightly more important than what is being done or which object it's being done to in English. If we had to slowly remove pieces of information from a sentence while trying to keep its essence intact, logically we would do so in order of least important to most important. If we were to omit the subject, we would get ate an apple, which sounds strange. On the other hand, if we were to omit the object instead, the sentence would become I ate. Even though in each instance we omitted a piece of information, the reason I ate sounds less strange is because we've yet to break any grammatical rules, and so there's still potential for the sentence fragment to become a complete sentence and to become grammatically correct. Since the latter is logical, this indicates that the subject is more important than the object in English. The same would have been true if we had omitted the verb. Since the subject is the integral component in the sentence, this makes English a subject-prominent language.
Japanese, on the other hand, is a topic-prominent language. Unlike English, the focus of each Japanese sentence is the topic, not the subject. Essentially, the ate an apple portion, リンゴを食べました, is the main focus of the sentence, where I is deemed less important and can be omitted.
In fact, if it's obvious what the subject is, or if it's already been established, it's quite normal to omit the subject from the conversation altogether in Japanese. Let's look at this aspect in a bit more detail. More often than not, if you wanted to say, I ate an apple in Japanese, you would not say,
私がリンゴを食べました.
Instead, you would more likely say, apple ate in Japanese.
リンゴを食べました.
Since Japanese is a topic-prominent language, the information to be shared is the act of eating the apple. Less important is the subject, which is omitted altogether. Most Japanese sentences are constructed and spoken like this in real life. In most situations, such as a one-on-one conversation, it's clear that the person who's speaking is the subject. In cases where it's obvious who or what the subject is, it's almost guaranteed that the subject will be omitted. And so, you're left with
リンゴを食べました.
On the other hand, when it's unclear who or what the subject is, or if you wanted to place emphasis on the subject, like if you wanted to declare from a group of people that it was you who ate the apple, then you would include the subject.
私がリンゴを食べました.
But more often than not, most sentences spoken in daily Japanese conversation can be spoken without including the subject at all, particularly if that subject is you.
箱を開けました。電車で帰りました。
Knowing this, we can easily express any simple action in Japanese using just the object and the verb. Try to create the sentence, I ate a hot dog, from these sets of words.
食べました。ホットドッグを。
Okay, got it? The object goes first, so let's put hot dog here. And the verb goes last, so let's put ate at the end. Finally, we connect them using the appropriate particle. And that's it.
ホットドッグを食べました。
Which means, I ate a hot dog in Japanese.
ホットドッグを食べました。
You can create any basic sentence like this in Japanese if you simply know the word for the object and the verb in Japanese. Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Japanese sentences are formed using a subject-object-verb, or SOV, word order. The most important aspect of Japanese sentences is not the subject of the sentence, but the topic. Most sentences spoken in Japanese will not actually contain a subject, especially if that subject is obvious, like when it's yourself, the speaker. And lastly, you can create basic sentences in Japanese by putting the object first and the verb last. We've covered only the very basics of Japanese grammar. If you're interested in learning more, check out our Learn Basic Japanese video series. In that course, we teach you useful phrases while covering the fundamentals of Japanese grammar. In the next lesson, we'll introduce you to the basics of Japanese writing. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Japanese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Risa.
In this lesson, we'll focus on teaching you the most useful Japanese words and phrases for absolute beginners.
Make sure you're repeating the words out loud after I say the examples.
Are you ready? Let's get started. Bar none, the best phrase to learn when studying a new language is one that expresses gratitude and appreciation. If you had to learn only one single phrase, this would be it.
We taught you this phrase in the very first lesson. Do you remember what it was? ありがとう. It means thank you. ありがとう.
Keep repeating after Risa until you get it.
ありがとう.
Your turn.
ありがとう. ありがとう.
Do you remember this character here? We talked about it in lesson 2. Even though this character is transcribed as an R, don't pronounce it like an English R. Listen to how Risa pronounces this sound.
り.
It sounds like a mixture between an R and an L sound.
り.
Another way of pronouncing this sound is to think of the quick tapping motion your tongue makes as it strikes the top gum ridge in words like ladder or butter.
り.
Altogether, it's
ありがとう.
Okay, one last time.
ありがとう.
The next phrase we'll teach you is perhaps the second most useful of all phrases. It's to apologize or to excuse yourself.
We taught you this phrase in lesson 2. Do you remember what it was? すみません, and it means excuse me or I'm sorry. すみません.
Use this phrase when you want to grab a waiter's attention or when you're hustling through the busy streets of Tokyo.
すみません.
Your turn.
すみません.
Imagine you're on the street and you want to stop someone to ask them for directions. What do you say?
すみません.
Okay, one last time.
すみません.
Now you can say thank you, excuse me, and I'm sorry in Japanese. Let's move on. Asking where something is an incredibly important and useful phrase to learn. You're going to need this when asking where the bathroom, the train station, or where the hotel is. To ask where something is, put the name of the place or location first, and then add
はどこですか?
For example, if you want to ask, where is the bathroom?
トイレはどこですか?
For the train station, it'll be
駅はどこですか?
And so on. You can ask where something is by simply adding
はどこですか? は marks the place as the subject of the sentence. どこ means where. This is a polite word that roughly translates to is, and か marks the sentence as a question. You can kind of think of it like a question mark in Japanese.
Altogether, it's
はどこですか?
your turn.
はどこですか? はどこですか?
Now let's teach you some vocabulary so that you can use it in the sentence. Here are some of the most common words you'll need to learn.
トイレ
Bathroom.
トイレトイレはどこですか?
Next,
駅
station.
駅駅はどこですか?
If you ask someone this question, they'll direct you to the closest train station. If you'd like to ask where a specific train station is, like Tokyo Station, for example, simply place the location before station.
駅東京駅東京駅はどこですか?
Next,
ホテル
hotel.
ホテルホテルはどこですか?
For a specific hotel, do the same as before. Just place the name before hotel.
ホテルヒルトンホテルヒルトンホテルはどこですか?
Next,
コンビニ
convenience store.
コンビニコンビニはどこですか?
You can substitute almost anything and simply add
はどこですか?
to ask where something is in Japanese. In this final lesson, you learned how to say thank you, excuse me, I'm sorry, and to ask where something is in Japanese. And in this series, we introduced you to the basics of Japanese pronunciation, grammar, writing, and more. Let's conclude with some parting advice from Risa and listen to some of her tips on how to learn Japanese from a native Japanese perspective.
The best way to learn Japanese, particularly if you want to improve your communication skills, is to watch and study contemporary Japanese videos. That's because we often use expressions that aren't necessarily introduced in grammar textbooks in daily conversation. The biggest mistake that I see learners make is watching and mimicking what they see and hear in anime, and to a lesser degree Japanese dramas. A lot of the expressions used in anime are not commonly used in daily conversation, as their reactions are often exaggerated. The same thing happens in Japanese dramas too, but to a lesser extent. One such example is the use of domo as a casual way to say thanks. We often see this in comedic shows, and so a lot of learners are saying domo. But in fact, it is rarely used even amongst friends. It should generally be avoided. Watching contemporary videos, such as our videos here at JapanesePod101.com, will ensure that you're learning real, applicable Japanese in the fastest and the most effective way.
You've reached the end of this course, Introduction to Japanese, but it's only the beginning of your journey to Japanese fluency. Where do you go from here? Try our innovative Japanese series where we teach you beginner vocab and even more useful phrases, or check out any of our other video series. We have many different categories for you to choose from. Good luck as you continue learning Japanese, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!
Bye!
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Japanese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Risa.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Japanese writing. In English, we use one script, the English alphabet, to write. To write in Japanese, however, you will need to use 3 different scripts together.
And they are hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Hiragana is like the basic Japanese alphabet.
Instead of 26 letters, however, we have 46 characters. Each character represents 1 syllable. These 5 characters, for example, represent the 5 vowels in Japanese.
A, I, U, E, O.
All other characters, except for 1, are made up of a consonant and one of these vowels.
Ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, sa, shi, su, se, so.
And so on.
Katakana is almost exactly the same as hiragana. The only difference is that it's written a little differently. A, I, U, お、か、き、く、け、こ. Hiragana is more cursive, while katakana has a lot of sharp corners. The final script is kanji.
Kanji is the use of Chinese characters in Japanese writing. This is because Japanese writing actually originated from China.
Right. A long time ago, Japan only used Chinese characters. Today, we use all three scripts together to write Japanese. Unlike hiragana and katakana though, kanji is nothing like an alphabet.
Kanji characters are a special type of character that represent an idea or concept. They act more like entire words than individual letters. And unlike the alphabet, there are thousands and thousands of kanji characters.
Not to mention, there are many different ways you can read them too. So the pronunciation actually changes according to the context.
Okay, now you know that there are 3 different scripts used to write Japanese, but why is this the case? Let's look at each script in a little more detail.
You can think of hiragana as the default script used to write most things in Japanese.
It's the most common of the 3 scripts because it's used to write functional words, including most grammatical particles, such as possessive,
の、私のペン
prepositions,
に、学校にいる
as a subject marker,
は、ジョンは学生です
and it can also be used to write words that lack a kanji rendition or whose kanji is obscure or considered too difficult for the reader to understand. Additionally, it's used as inflectional endings for adjectives and verbs together with kanji.
見る、押す、白い、古い
In theory, you could use this script to write everything in Japanese.
For this reason, it's generally best to learn hiragana first. We mentioned before that katakana is almost exactly the same as hiragana. The only difference is that it looks slightly different.
This is the least common of the 3 scripts because it's used to write foreign words and names,
コンピューター、ビール、ロンドン、ジョン
and onomatopoeic sounds.
ワンワン、ニャン It's common to learn katakana after you learn hiragana because of their similarities.
The final script is kanji, which is undoubtedly the hardest one of all to learn. Kanji is used to write most words of native Japanese or of historically Chinese origin. This includes most nouns,
人、学校
the stems of most verbs and adjectives,
見る、行く、赤い、怖い
and most personal and place names.
田中、ひろこ、東京、大阪
Learning kanji may be difficult since there are thousands and thousands of them. They are, however, an integral part of Japanese writing. Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned.
In this lesson, you learned that there are 3 different scripts used to write Japanese. Hiragana is the most common, and it's used to write functional words and particles. Katakana is used to write foreign words and names. And kanji is used to write native Japanese words, or words of Chinese origin.
We've covered the very basics of Japanese writing.
Check out our Kantankana series to learn the hiragana and katakana scripts that we talked about in this lesson.
And check out our Introduction to Kanji series, where we teach you the quickest and most effective way to tackle learning kanji. In the next lesson, you'll be entering Japanese Boot Camp, where you'll learn useful beginner phrases to get you speaking Japanese right away. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi! Welcome to Introduction to Japanese. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Risa. In this series, you learn everything you need to know to get started learning Japanese.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn the reasons you should start learning a new language, why you should learn Japanese in particular, and how to get started.
Let's begin with the most obvious question: why learn a new language?
There are countless reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. You have the freedom to move to another country halfway around the world and earn a living, or even better yet, build a career from it, instead of just being stuck in one place. Language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never have even considered going simply because that wasn't a possibility for you. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place, and by broadening your understanding of other cultures, it allows you to be more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. With language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you to grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Several studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't learn another language. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn Japanese in particular?
Have you ever heard of Pokemon, Mario, or PlayStation? Well, they all came from Japan.
Japanese pop culture is huge. Many of the animations, comics, and games that are loved by people from all over the world were created in Japan. Not everything gets translated either, so unless you know Japanese, you're missing out on a lot of amazing things that Japanese pop culture has to offer.
And what about the fact that Japan is the third largest economy in the world?
Japan has one of the largest electronic goods industries in the world and is the world's third largest automobile manufacturer. It's also one of the highest ranked countries in terms of innovation. Knowing Japanese opens up many business opportunities. And knowledge of the language, of Japanese culture, their work ethic, and business etiquette can go a very long way in the world of business. Oftentimes, it could even make or break an important business deal. Knowing Japanese then will put you ahead of the pack.
Japan has one of the fastest growing tourism sectors in Asia. And actually, Japan will be hosting the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo.
We should add that the majority of the Japanese population can't speak English, so if you're planning on making a few friends in Japan, being able to speak at least some Japanese will get you a long way. There are many World Heritage sites for you to see and enjoy in Japan. Perhaps the most famous one of all, an absolute icon of Japan, is Mount Fuji, the highest mountain in Japan.
Another spot that I really like is Himeji Castle. It's one of the finest examples of Japanese architecture during the period of feudal Japan.
Japan has a colorful history that spans thousands of years. The feudal period of Japan, the age of the samurai, lasted for nearly a millennium. Most notably, the country saw an unprecedented 250 years of peace and prosperity, giving rise to artistic, cultural, and social development, all of which you can see and enjoy in museums across Japan today.
So clearly, there are many reasons why you should learn Japanese.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a language and why you should start learning Japanese, but how should they get started, Risa?
Well, it's as simple as learning your first word in Japanese and building up from there.
The good news, though, is that you already know some Japanese.
Sushi, samurai, karaoke.
These are words that have made their way into English, but the reverse is also true. Many English words have also made their way into Japanese.
Ice cream, biru, butter.
In fact, 10% of all Japanese words used today come from English. This means that you already know a little more than 10% of all the words that exist in Japanese.
Let's teach you something that you might not know, but is very useful. Arigato. It means thank you in Japanese.
That's a useful phrase. Can you explain a little bit about what these characters are, though?
Sure. That's actually the Japanese writing system called kana. And it's not as hard as it looks. Japanese doesn't use alphabetical letters in its writing system like English does. Instead, we use a set of characters called kana. You can think of each character as a syllable. A, ri, ga, to, u.
You'll learn the Japanese writing system eventually, but for now, let's put up some romanization to help get you started.
This romanization is called romaji, and it allows you to read Japanese before you become familiar with Japanese characters.
That certainly makes things much easier to learn. Well, okay then. Now listen and repeat after Risa.
ありがとう.
Now you try.
ありがとう。
Your turn again.
ありがとう。
Well done. Now you know how to say thank you in Japanese. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap on what we've learned? In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as providing new job and business opportunities. Japan has a colorful history with many things for you to see and learn, and to say thank you in Japanese, it's
ありがとう。
In the next lesson, we're going to demystify Japanese pronunciation by taking a look at the sounds of Japanese. So be sure to watch the next video. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is to eat soup in Japanese スープを飲む or スープを食べる. When talking about consumption, we have the choice of using 飲む or 食べる. Sometimes it's a little difficult to know which one to use. A simple way to remember is that if you don't chew, you use 飲む. As soup is a liquid, something you don't chew, you would say スープを飲む. If it's not a liquid or anything you would need to eat with a fork, you use 食べる. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use 飲む and 食べる correctly. Let's first do an example with 飲む. 味噌汁を飲みます. This sentence would translate as I eat miso soup. Since it's basically a liquid and something we don't chew, we use 飲む. But like some soup, some people use 食べる when they eat miso soup or stew with a lot of ingredients. Like in this next example, シチューを食べる. This sentence means I eat stew. In this case, stew is technically a liquid, but there are usually many types of solid food used in stew, so it all depends on how much chewing you think you're doing. From that, you can decide which verb to use. I explained earlier that a simple way to remember is that if you don't chew, you use 飲む. But when the object is not liquid or doesn't have liquid, you always use 食べる, even if you don't chew. For example, ゼリーを食べる. This means I eat jelly. Even if you don't chew jelly, it's not liquid, so you use 食べる. On the other hand, there is a case where you use 飲む for something that's not liquid. When you take a medicine, you would say 薬を飲む. I take medicine. Although some medicines are solid, it's not something that you typically chew, and also you usually drink water together with medicine, so you use 飲む. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson are the meanings of 冷蔵庫にジュースを冷やしておきます and 冷蔵庫にジュースが冷やしてあります the same? In these sentences, we're talking about the differences between ておく and てある. Let's break down the differences together. We use ておく when the focus is on the action, while てある is used when the focus is on the state or condition caused by the action. To put it more simply, ておく highlights an action to be done in advance for some special purpose, while てある mentions the past actions. But the point is that the state which the past action caused is still continuing. In the case of the sentences we mentioned, 冷蔵庫にジュースを冷やしておきます means that you leave some juice in the fridge to chill so that someone can drink it later. If you say 冷蔵庫にジュースが冷やしてあります the implication is that I put juice in the fridge a while ago and it's still chilling in there. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use 手置く and 手ある correctly. First, let's do an example with 手置く。明日までに会議用の資料を作っておきます。This means I'll get the documents for meeting done by tomorrow. Here, you are focusing on the action of finishing the documents by tomorrow because you need them for the meeting tomorrow. That's why you need to use 手置く。Now, let's do an example with 手ある。机にメモが置いてある。This means there's a note on my desk. In this sentence, someone put a note on your desk in the past, but the point is that the note is still there, focusing on the continued state of the note existing on your desk. 手置く and 手ある sound very similar, but if you think of the original verbs 置く to put and ある to exist or to be, it's easier to understand why 手置く has focus on the action to put or place something, and 手ある has focus on the state of being. How was this lesson? Did you get everything? Make sure you get over to JapanesePod101.com and keep practicing. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between 違う and 間違う? Both 違う and 間違う are related to making a mistake, so how do you know which one to use? 違う is used when two things don't correspond or match or the information is incorrect. The basic way you can remember it is A does not equal B. For example, if you have the wrong telephone number, as in it's simply different from the correct one, you would say 電話番号が違う. However, if you accidentally misdialed that number, you would say 電話番号を間違えた using 間違う. This is because 間違う means that someone does something wrong or makes a mistake instead of something just being incorrect. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use 違う and 間違う correctly. First, let's do an example with 違う. 山田さんですか? いいえ、違います. Are you Mr. or Miss Yamada? No, I'm not. This is a typical usage of 違う. In this case, no, I'm not would more directly translate as no, you are mistaken. Person A simply has the wrong information about who person B is. Now let's do an example with 間違う. 塩と砂糖を間違うと大変だ. In this case, we're talking about the potential of someone actually mistaking salt for sugar. Let's do one more example. あなたの考えは間違っているよ. Your thinking is incorrect, which is equivalent to you're wrong. While 間違う focuses on the act of making mistakes, using it in the form of 間違っている can also be used to highlight that something is wrong, incorrect, or unjust. Remember that while 違う and 間違う may be similar in the fact that they both involve mistakes, they both come from different views. 間違う is about the mistake being made and 違う is about incorrect information. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Make sure to go to JapanesePod101.com for more practice. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what are the differences between 冷やす, 冷える, 冷ます, and 冷める? These expressions can be divided into two groups, 冷やす versus 冷える. and samasu versus sameru. Hiyasu and samasu are both transactive verbs, which means they take one or more objects. Hieru and sameru are both intransactive verbs, which means they do not allow any object. Let's break it down together. First, let's start with hiyasu versus hieru. These two verbs have the meaning of an object falling from room temperature to cold. Therefore, it means to make something change to a state of being cold. The focus is on the cooling down. For example, ビールが冷える. Beer gets or becomes cold. ビールを冷やす. I make my beer cold. In sentence A, the beer goes from room temperature to cold naturally, like after you leave it in the fridge for a while. In sentence B, you purposefully make it cold in order to drink it. With samasu versus sameru, the focus is on the temperature falling from hot to room temperature. As the original object has heat in it, it's the action of that heat being released. It's often used for liquids, for example, コーヒーが冷める. Coffee gets or becomes cold or lukewarm. コーヒーを冷ます. Make coffee cold or lukewarm. In the first sentence, your coffee becomes cold or room temperature naturally, like when you leave it out for a while. In the second sentence, you made it colder on purpose so you're able to drink it. In both cases, the heat is taken away. As these all sound very similar, it may be difficult for you to remember all of their meanings. One way to remember is if you remember the verbs starting with H in the alphabet, hiyasu and hieru, you can associate them with the adjective hikui, meaning low, as in lowering the temperature. For the verbs starting with S, samasu and sameru, you can imagine the temperature dropping from hot to a more soothing temperature. How was this lesson? Did you get everything? Make sure to go to JapanesePod101.com for more practice. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between 雨が降っているのに傘をささないの and 雨が降っていても傘をささないの? Both of these expressions are asking why someone is not using an umbrella in the rain. But is there a difference? The meaning of noni and temo are a little bit different. Noni means despite, in spite of, or although, while temo means even if, even though, or even when. For example, if you and your friend are about to go out on a rainy day and you see she isn't carrying an umbrella, you might say, 雨が降っているのに傘をささないの? Literally, this means you don't use an umbrella although it's raining. However, if your friend says she often doesn't use an umbrella in general, you might say, 雨が降っていても傘をささないの? You don't use an umbrella even when it's raining. Temo is often used in hypothetical situations. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use noni and temo correctly. Let's first do an example with noni. どうしたの? 旅行に行きたいのに仕事を休めないの? What's wrong? Although I want to go on a trip, I can't take days off from work. These sentences are not hypothetical. They're talking about a real situation. In this case, noni is used to express that despite the fact that person B wants to take a trip, he or she is unable to because of the inability to get off work. Now, let's do an example with temo. 仕事はそんなに忙しいの? 旅行に行きたくても仕事を休めないの? Is your job that busy? Even if I want to go on a trip, I can't take days off from work. In this situation, person A and person B are talking about how busy person B is at work. Therefore, person B used the hypothetical situation of going on a trip to highlight how busy he or she is. Person B is not talking about actually wanting to go. The best way to practice using noni and temo is by starting with simple sentences and choosing whether you want to say although or even if. Then you can pick which one you should use more easily. How was this lesson? Did you get everything? Make sure to go to JapanesePod101.com for more practice. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between ikimashita and itteimashita? Ikimashita is the simple past tense of the verb iku, meaning to go. Therefore, it simply means I went. The phrase itteimashita has the te form of iku plus imasu, which is often used for progressive states. Therefore, itteimashita means went somewhere and continue to be there. As the phrase is in the past, the acts of both going and staying have already occurred. More simply, ikimashita answers the questions 夏休みはどこに行きましたか? or 夏休みは何をしましたか? meaning, where did you go during summer vacation? or what did you do during summer vacation? 行っていました answers 夏休みの間どこに行っていましたか? or 夏休みの間何をしていましたか? Literally, where have you been during summer vacation? Or what were you doing during summer vacation? Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use 行きました and 行っていました correctly. First, let's do an example with 行きました。夏休みどこに行きましたか? 東大寺に行きました。Where did you go on summer vacation? I went to the Todaiji temple. Here, the question is only asking about an event that occurred in the past, so we need to use 行きました。Now, let's do an example with 行っていました。The question is, 夏休みは何をしていましたか? 医療ボランティアとして事故で怪我した人々を助けていました。What were you doing during summer vacation? As medical volunteer, I was helping injured people because of accident. In this situation, the person is asking about the continued state of the action. What were you doing? That's why we have to use 行っていました in this case. ていました can describe the progressive action or state that occurred at one point in the past, but it also means an action or state continued for some time. This is the big difference between any simple past verb and progressive past verb. How was this lesson? Did you get everything? Make sure to get on over to JapanesePod101.com for more practice. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, when it's difficult to do something, which expression should I use? There are many ways to express that something is difficult in Japanese, so how do you know which expression to use and when? にくい, 硬い, and づらい all have slightly different meanings. Let's go over them together. にくい means that something is difficult to do or it takes great effort to do. For example, if I say 言いにくい, it means that it's difficult for me to say something. It could be because it's sensitive matter or it's hard to put into words. 硬い means doing something that's almost impossible. For example, if we use a similar example as the one we used previously, 言い難い means you're almost not able to put something into words. づらい means that you don't feel comfortable doing something. If you use a similar example to the two used previously, 言いづらい would mean that there's something I want to say, but I don't feel comfortable saying it, and that's why it's difficult. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use にくい, 硬い, and 辛い. First, let's do an example with にくい. この料理はとても見た目がいいけど食べにくい. This phrase means this dish is very well presented, but it's difficult to eat. Imagine you were served a Japanese dinner that looks too beautiful or intricate to eat. The meaning implies the activity is difficult to do, so we need to use にくい. Now let's do an example with 硬い. 信じがたいことだけど本当です. This phrase means it's difficult to believe, but it's true. In this situation, it means that the information you received seems so far-fetched or out there that it's almost impossible to believe. That's why we need to use 硬い. Lastly, let's do an example with 辛い. 泣いている母を置いて出発しづらい. This phrase means it's difficult for me to depart leaving crying mother behind. Imagine if you have to leave your mother when she's really upset or in tears. That can mean an uncomfortable situation that you can't shake. That's why you would use 辛い. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, when do I use ie or uchi when I read the kanji for house? There are two readings, ie and uchi, for the kanji for house. So how do you know which one to use? Ie refers to the actual building where a family lives. Uchi refers to both where those people live and who those people are. Uchi also refers to your in-group of people. You can think of it as ie is house and uchi is home. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use ie and uchi correctly. First, let's do an example with ie. 新しい家に引っ越したい. This phrase means I want to move to a new house. Here, you're referring to a new building where you want to live. Therefore, we need to use ie. Now, let's do an example with うち. 仕事が早く終わったので、早く家に帰れました. As I finished work early, I could come back home early. Here, you're referring to not only the building where you live, but you're also implying going home to the other people who are living there. It also has the nuance of going back to a place of belonging. Let's do one more example. うちの猫は大きいです. My cat is big. This is a typical usage of uchi in reference to your in-group. The sentence implies that you're talking about your house cat or the family cat. That's why in this case, uchi is usually translated as my or our. In many cases, ie and uchi can be used interchangeably. However, again, if you think of ie as house and uchi as home, you can grasp that difference in nuance more easily. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! Bye bye! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between 手伝う and 助ける? Both verbs translate as to help in Japanese. So how do you know which ones to use? 手伝う means to lend a hand in order to lighten the burden of someone's work or labor. It means the person who offers help would do the same work as the other person. 助ける means to help a person when he or she is in crisis or danger. 助ける is more often used in the context of rescue than just helping someone with chores. You can also sometimes use 手伝う and 助ける with the same sentence, but the meaning will change. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use 手伝う and 助ける correctly. First, let's do an example with 手伝う。夕食を作るのを手伝います。This means I'll help you cook dinner. In this case, you're talking about helping with a household chore in order to lighten the burden of the person cooking. Therefore, you need to use 手伝う。Now, let's do an example with 助ける。助けて! Help! This would be a phrase you yell if you were in immediate danger or crisis. Because you need saving or rescuing, the correct verb to use would be 助ける in the te form. Lastly, let's show similar sentences using both 手伝う and 助ける。日本語の宿題をやっているんだけど、手伝ってくれる？日本語の宿題をやっているんだけど、助けてくれる？ Both sentences literally translate as, I'm working on my homework for Japanese, but will you help me? However, in the first sentence using 手伝う, it could just mean the student is lazy and could use an extra hand with some papers. However, in the second sentence with 助ける, it implies that the work is too difficult and that person really needs some help. As both 手伝う and 助ける translate as help, you need to think about what kind of help you need in order to choose one over the other. Is it help to reduce your workload or is it to help save you from danger? These are simple questions you can ask yourself when trying to figure out which verb to use. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, if tekuru means to begin to, what's the difference between tekuru and shihajimeru? Tekuru and shihajimeru both relate to something starting, so how do you know which one to use? The verb tekuru has the verb kuru to come in it. That means that while it may translate as start, the nuance is that the action was not occurring in the past and essentially came to the present. So the focus is in the change from not raining in the past to raining now. On the other hand, with shihajimeru, the focus is on the starting point of the action and the past is not in the picture. It also implies that the action will continue for some time. For example, if we use the similar sentence, 雨が降り始めた, it would also translate as it started raining, but the imagery would only focus on when the rain started and the likelihood of it continuing. Let's go through some examples so you can learn how to use tekuru and shihajimeru correctly. First, let's do an example with tekuru. 最近寒くなってきました. This phrase means it started to become colder or it's been getting cold. In this case, we can't use shihajimeru because it's not talking about the starting point of the action. Rather, it's talking about a change in state starting in the past. Now, let's do an example with し始める. 明日論文を書き始めます. This phrase means I'll start writing the thesis tomorrow. Here, you're focusing on the start of the action of writing, which will happen tomorrow. That's why, in this case, you need to use し始める. The key to understanding certain expressions in Japanese is point of view as well as focus. In order to understand the difference between similar expressions, grasping the concept and building an image is helpful. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! See you!
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Japanese ebook before it's gone.